Welcome, everyone, to another edition of The Talk with AVC. I am your host, AVC, and we are back here on the Iona College airwaves we're going to start with football today. So let's get right into it as soon as I can get my notes up here. Excuse me, guys. So let's just start with the whole Deshaun Watson thing. We talked a little bit about it last week, but it keeps coming up, so it keeps being prevalent. So let's take a second. So far, we know that all this has been filed by the same attorney, and we are now looking at about 20 cases against Deshaun Watson. I'm not sure if it's 20 different people or 20 different cases. I'm assuming it's 20 different cases. I'd have to check that. Now there's reports that he allegedly went on Instagram and tried to settle with people, which isn't exactly the best thing to do until you go to actual court, especially if it's going to court. But I like to keep everyone in mind that this is all civil trials, this is all lawsuits. Watson is not facing any jail time. He's not even going to criminal court. These are all civil lawsuits that would result in payments. So a settlement isn't honestly that out of the question, because that's probably what he would end up doing anyway if he was possibly found guilty. So with that whole thing, and like I said last week, the question was, is this the end of his career? No. Especially at quarterback, there will always be a team that wants his talent bad enough that he will play them. Now, the question, and this is a bit of a conspiracy theory, so I don't want to completely acknowledge this as fact, but this is what people have been asking me. Is this some type of thing? Because apparently the lawyer who is filing all these cases lives right next to Kyle McNair, the owner of the Texans. Is this some type of ploy to get Watson's market so depressed because of all this that nobody wants to trade for him, that he's basically forced to stay in Houston? I'm not going to say it's impossible given McNair, but I'm going to say it's highly unlikely. Oh my God, I think they'd be more obvious about it. I just don't see how this is just a mess. Oh, let's move on to better things to talk about. So the San Francisco 49ers made a big trade this past week after I got off the airwaves. They made a swap with the Miami Dolphins. They have now moved up to the number 3 pick, sacrificing 3 first-rounders and a third over the next 3 years. Okay, that's a lot of draft capital for the number 3 pick. So Miami was then down at 12, and then they swapped again with Philly to get up to 6, only giving up, I think it was 2 first. I think 12 and another first. So Philly got another first to trade back to 12, and Miami gets to move up to 6. All right, so who are the biggest winners out of this? Well, I would say obviously the biggest winner is Miami. This is, I got to give their GM a lot of props. What he's been doing, the job he has been doing as general manager for Miami, is insanely impressive. Brian Flores, Miami is creating a culture of good moves and winning. And that's honestly all you can ask for out of a team. That's what breeds success. They are setting themselves up right now to be one of the best teams in the league for the next few years. They now have 5 firsts, 4 seconds, and 4 thirds over the next 3, or some insane number, like maybe even higher, some insane number of first 3-round picks over the next 3 years. Even if you hit on a quarter of those, that's going to be huge for them. The big question mark now with Miami is just Tua. What do you do with him? I'm thinking that Miami realized they weren't going to get Zach Wilson at 3. So no Zach Wilson, no Trevor Lawrence, because it's pretty clear now that Zach Wilson's going number 2 to the Jets. Since Miami figured out, well, we're not going to get either of those guys, so none of those guys, at least in the draft, we feel are an upgrade over Tua, let's just stick with Tua for now. And I always thought you should have stuck with Tua unless you had a chance to get Deshaun Watson. If you had a chance to get Deshaun Watson before the whole other thing, maybe even now with the whole other thing, if you have a chance to get Deshaun Watson, do it. But if not, roll with Tua because the guy was only a rookie. He showed some flashes of brilliance last year. Maybe with a new offensive coordinator, he can do a little bit better. I think he'll be all right. But the number 6 pick puts you in position to draft either a good offensive lineman like a Christian Dershaw or a Penei Sewell if he falls that far, or possibly take one of the top wideouts on the board. I'm looking at a Jamar Chase, a Devontae Smith, a Jalen Waddle, somebody like that who can really help out Tua. But then again, they probably addressed that in free agency with Will Fuller, who I don't think I talked about the last time. But, as a Notre Dame fan, a little biased, I like Will Fuller. His big thing is health. He is the equivalent, and it was funny because they were on the same team last year. He is the equivalent of Brandon Cooks. That's literally what he is. He's Brandon Cooks 2.0. He gets injured a lot. He's incredibly fast. He's a great deep threat. Sometimes there's issues catching the ball, but that's peak Brandon Cooks right there. If he can stay healthy, he could be a stud for them and really help them out. Let's talk about the other pieces in this trade. Philly. I actually don't like this for Philly because I don't get it. Look, if you're going to trade down 6 spots, I'd like you to get a little bit more than just an extra first next year for a team that's probably going to be good. That doesn't do much for me. And you had a chance to have your pick of the crop of wideouts for Jalen Hurts or whoever you put in at quarterback. And you went with, we'll get the second or third guy on the board. Unless, I don't know, Howie Roseman's still the GM, so they'll draft the wrong receiver anyway. But this is just Philly, I'm so sorry. You are in for a long rebuild at this rate. Now let's look at the Niners. 2 easy things to realize from this deal. 1, Jimmy Jesus, I'm sorry. I love you, but you're gone. You're gone. There is no way the Niners make this deal to not select a quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo will be traded before we know it. Maybe back to New England? I could totally see it. But looking at this, it is a little bit weird to me. The 2 special QB talents are going to go 1-2. So Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson. So who's at 3? Trey Lance. I like him. He's a bit raw. He's kind of like Josh Allen. I think is the best comparison there. Big arm, big kid. Can run. Needs some time to adjust to the NFL game. I like him, but all right. Justin Fields. Again, I kind of like him. He's got a decent arm. He's more mobile. Kyle Shanahan can probably do some fun things with him. But at the same time, he's an Ohio State quarterback. And with the 3rd pick at this point, then again, I could see Atlanta taking him at 4, so who the hell knows? And then I've heard Mac Jones. Let me put it to you this way, John Lynch. If you traded 3 future firsts to take Mac Jones, and he doesn't pan out, you're gone. I can tell you that right now. You are hinging all your hopes on that kid if you take him at 3. And the reason I don't really get this move for the Niners is all you needed was to be healthy. Think about it. The 1 year you were healthy, you went to the Super Bowl. Jimmy G was healthy, the roster was healthy, and he went to the Super Bowl. And he came a drive away from winning it, from beating that Chiefs team. You were the best team in the NFC by far. This team at full health could beat the Bucs. This team at full health could beat anybody because they're that good. Jimmy G doesn't make mistakes. He wins games. And the defense is incredible. Yeah, you lost to Forrest Buckner, but you replaced him with Javon Kinlaw. You still have D Ford and Nick Bosa. That pass rush is still going to be great. The second level is still great. You've lost Richard Sherman and Robert Saleh now, so I don't know how your back end's going to be, but at the same time, it's just, I don't know. This move is a bit weird for me. But I guess we'll see. I look forward to possibly laughing on draft night. That's always fun. So, speaking of Sherman, let's take a look at some of the top remaining free agents. So there's really 4. There's Richard Sherman, Jadeveon Clowney, Antonio Brown had a 4th and one. Now I can't remember who it is. That's unfortunate. I think it was an offensive lineman. But sorry about that. Basically, the reason all these guys are sitting on the market is because either A, they're asking for too much money, B, they're older, or C, they have character or consistency issues. Sherman, it's age and probably how much money he's asking for. For AB, it's because he's AB and only a few teams are going to be in the market for him anyways. For Clowney, it's inconsistency and injury proneness, and also probably asking for too much money. These are guys I could see taking 1-year bridge deals. I could totally see this. Sherman probably to the Jets to reunite with Salah. AB probably back to the Bucs for another year to recoup his value. And honestly, this is me being biased as a Falcon fan, but I would love a 1-year, $10 million deal to Jadeveon Clowney. Atlanta, try to find out. You've cleared up cap space for something. Restructuring deals and stuff and pushing money to next year doesn't matter if you don't spend any money this year. Mike Davis cannot be our biggest free agency acquisition. That just can't be the case. Oh boy. So look forward to that. And in the coming weeks, I will look a lot more into the draft. Probably release a first mock draft soon. So I'll let you guys know about that. But thank you very much for tuning into this first segment here on the Talk with AVC. I will see you all in the next segment, probably March Madness. And I'll see you in a bit.